8:20 now. You are streaming live right here on WCNC Plus. We've been tracking and talking all morning about Hurricane Melissa. This is some video from Flatbridge, Jamaica. We've been looking at this all morning long, and you can see it really looks like it's just a river there, just a river, fast moving water. Actually, there's a bridge beneath that water that you see. This again is a live look. Well, we want to show you a timeline. Our team actually went back, so let's take a look. This is last night, 6 o'clock, and you can actually see the bridge there. You see the water going underneath, flowing, not a problem, right? Okay, let's go up. We're going to go to, I think, like 4 a.m. Is that right, Marie? Okay, we're going to go back to the live picture so you can see just the difference there, what it was like at 6 p.m. to, again, what it looks like now. A tremendous amount of rainfall, as you can see, the water just going by. You can't even see the bridge. If you did not know from the earlier pictures, you wouldn't know that there was a bridge there. We've been talking all morning about Jamaica, but Cuba also preparing for Melissa's impact. The country is expected to face catastrophic winds, heavy rain, dangerous storm surges, just like Jamaica. Tractors are moving carts with tanks of drinking water ahead of the storm. Residents have boarded up their windows. They've reinforced roofs, and they've been forced to evacuate from the low-lying areas as the storm closes in. Authorities have activated emergency shelters. They've suspended flights, as you might imagine, and deployed disaster response teams nationwide. We're going to bring Chris in now to add more perspective from this. I know you've been talking about it all morning and just mentioning the dirty side of this storm and the way that Melissa is moving.
Yeah, and the dirty side of the storm, plain and simple, is when it's rotating in a counterclockwise rotation. Whenever you have the forward movement, it's that right side that's always going to be the strongest. What I'm showing you right here is the potential wind field, which, by the way, the tropical storm wind field, and that's what that area of yellow is representing, is actually 250 miles wide. So regardless, all of Jamaica is going to be dealing with tropical storm force winds, and it's a small section that's truly dealing with the hurricane force winds. That's always directly around the center of the storm. So looking at the most recent update, and this dropped really right before the 8 o'clock hour. They often do that a few minutes to several minutes before, sometimes even up to a half hour early. And look at the distance here. We're talking about 28 miles away, moving northeast at about 7 miles per hour. Now, it's at this point an Iowa wall will start to wobble. What's most frightening about this is usually at this point, you start to go into the eye wall recirculation, and you have not seen that. It's called the eye wall replacement cycle. You haven't seen that over the last day or so. That eye wall is still staying crystal clear, and that's keeping it perfectly intact. So that 175 mile per hour winds was looking like it could weaken. Nope, it is maintains its strength. It still has a 901 millibar level as far as that, and that's still number 8 of all time. We'll see what the final data is once it comes in, because oftentimes it can be a little bit lower. But we're calling for landfall, which, by the way, landfall has a really specific definition. It's when the intersection of the surface center of a tropical cyclone with a coastline. So it means the center of the eye wall is going to be completely halfway onto land. That's going to be the definition of what a landfall is going to be. So you have to wait for the eye wall that I was just showing you to fully move onto shore. So the length of this is likely going to be right about here. That's where you're going to have that landfall, and it does look like it's still anytime between about 10 to about noon, because this is actively starting to get into its high gear that's really going to be racing its way further off towards the north and east. So here's the way that that looks like for our tropical wind track, still holding on to Category 5 strength across Jamaica. Could make landfall as either a weaker Category 5 or a high-end Category 4 moving through Cuba. That still winds up to about 150 to 140 miles per hour. And then after that, still remaining Category 2 and even near Bermuda, Category 1. Melissa's going to be a monster. Our retired storm for 2025, absolutely epic. Still thoughts and prayers for all those down in the Caribbean.